My mother just had her 15th child. I'm 100% certain that it's not human. I have to say my folks weren't very smart, trying to raise all of us on a single substitute teacher salary. But they loved us very much. I know because they often said so. We didn't have much, and what we had was shared hand-me-downs that were kept until they were shreds, which were then used as rags. Nothing wasted. We moved a lot too. As I got older, I put two and two together and realized that the vagrancy was because we'd have to skip town before angry landlords came after us for missed rent. There was only one more after me. Mom didn't let on that we were having another sibling until well into things. Wanted to be sure about it, I guessed. A month of waiting on our mom hand and foot, fussing about cradles and baby names. Then my parents went away for a few days, and when they got back, I had a little brother. When I laid eyes on him, I got a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. I knew what healthy newborns looked like from the pictures of my sister's baby girl. My new brother did not look like a healthy newborn. If I knew then what I knew now, I would have told someone. Child services, a teacher maybe. But I was blissfully, even willfully ignorant, and I did nothing. I tried to treat my baby brother like one of the family, I really did, but I think it was a relief for everybody when I moved out a few years later. Too much tension. 5 weeks before graduation, I got the call. Come home quick. Mom has cancer. I dropped everything to go to her. Wouldn't you? Ma kept her head up, but within months she was gone. I remember my sister staying up very late, looking over Mom's medical information and muttering about how impossible it all was. I didn't understand then. I do now. Shortly after the funeral, my dad took the last of her meds into the bathroom and followed her. The sick feeling that had been sitting coiled in my gut for 8 years solidified. Later, when I dug my mother's medical records out of the trash, I finally understood that feeling. My mom had a history of ovarian cancer in her family. Hell, my mom had a lot of bad medical history. What must have been the most devastating to her was the infertility it caused. But it wasn't after my youngest brother, 2 years before the oldest was born. According to this document, she had always been infertile. The low-profile job my dad worked, the constant moving, the way we all looked different, the pregnancies not announced before time, the death. The way my baby brother had looked the day my parents brought him home was not like a real newborn, like a TV newborn, like a baby already 2 or 3 months old. And that's when I remembered. The memories, muddled and distant, began to surface. The nights when my parents would be gone for a few days at a time, how they would return each time with another addition to our family. The many siblings that had passed through our home over the years, each one looking eerily unlike the last. But there was something else, something buried deep in the recesses of my mind. Something about my youngest brother, the one who didn't look like a newborn. The one who had never cried, never babbled as a baby should. The one who watched me, always watched me with a strange intensity I'd never seen in a baby. I recalled a particularly unnerving memory from when I was still living at home. I'd been given the task to watch my youngest brother. Barely a toddler then. There was a strange quietness to the house that day, as if everything was holding its breath. And then I heard him say a word, his first word. Not Mama, not Dada, but my name. A name I had never told him. A name that wasn't even my real name, but a nickname only a handful of my friends knew. Cold terror gripped me as I realized what this all meant. My mother, she was not my mother. My siblings, they were not my siblings. We were all different, brought together under the illusion of a family, bound by the lies of our parents. We were not born into this family. We were selected, collected, and for reasons unknown. Suddenly my phone buzzed, breaking my spiraling thoughts. The caller ID showed an unknown number, but before I could decide whether to answer it, my screen lit up with a single text message. My heart pounded in my chest as I read the words. I know you know. We need to talk. It's time you learned the truth about our family. The message was signed with a name I hadn't seen in years, the name of my youngest brother, now all grown up, the one who wasn't supposed to be human. I looked up from the phone, into the night's darkness, and couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. The feeling that things were about to change forever. The feeling that whatever was to come, there was no turning back. There was a string of murders that followed my family's trail the whole time. We all came into the family crying and covered in our mother's blood. But not the blood of the woman who raised us.